President Obama meets with Cuban President Raul Castro this morning in New York City. The meeting with that former foe follows Monday's United Nations visit with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The two leaders clashed over Syria and Ukraine.
Presidents Obama and Putin sharply disagree over how to deal with ISIS and Syria's embattled president. In separate addresses to the UN General Assembly, they proposed different ideas for taking on ISIS. Margaret Brennan was there for both speeches. Margaret, good morning.
Good morning. Well, the two leaders squared off for around an hour and a half. No sign of a breakthrough, but there was an offer to make common cause with Vladimir Putin to end the Syrian war and fight ISIS. A stiff handshake kicked off their first meeting in more than 2 years, after both Presidents Obama and Putin publicly blamed the other for the brutal war in Syria and outlined two different plans to stop it. Putin said it would be an enormous mistake not to join forces with the Syrian regime led by Bashar al-Assad, while President Obama blamed Assad's own brutality for feeding the rise of extremists like ISIS.
Tyrants like Bashar al-Assad, who drops barrel bombs to massacre innocent children because the alternative is surely worse.
Mr. Obama told leaders at the UN he is willing to work with Russia and Iran, but making that happen seems next to impossible, since Tehran and Moscow support Bashar al-Assad, who the U.S. blames for the rise of ISIS and a war that killed more than 250,000 people. U.S. officials said Monday's meeting tested how far Putin will go to protect Assad. In an interview with Charlie Rose on 60 Minutes, Putin gave an elusive answer.
Are you prepared to put Russian combat troops on the ground in Syria if it's necessary to defeat ISIS?
Россия не будет участвовать ни в каких.
Russia will not participate in any troop operations in the territory of Syria or in any other states. Well, at least we don't plan on it right now.
Both Presidents Putin and Obama share a common fear. Neither want ISIS to seize control of Syria. That led to a shift in U.S. policy, saying Assad can stay in power short term, but ultimately must exit to end the conflict.
We must recognize that there cannot be, after so much bloodshed, so much carnage, a return to the pre-war status quo.
Now, Putin said their discussion was, quote, constructive and surprisingly open, which is a diplomatic way to say we fundamentally disagree. And the White House has not decided what to do next. It wants to see if Putin follows through on this vow to fight ISIS. Gail?
All right, Margaret, thank you.